tell you a story. So it's about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I'm at my house watching some UFC with some of my friends. I think it was about a month ago because it was the Sugar Sean fight. I've done this a million times. Like, these are close friends of mine that I've hung out with a million times. But I can just vividly recall this feeling of like not being happy or not being present, and like really just being lethargic and wanting to go to bed and not really taking the moment for what it was, right? Like really just it's not living in the moment. So let's flash forward to today. Actually, probably 15 minutes ago from now. So I'm walking around my house doing whatever. I just made some food and I see my dog just looking fucking so happy. My dog Paisley, I fucking love her so much. And she just looks so happy, and I just go outside and start playing with her, and I just can't even explain like that euphoric feeling of how fucking fun it was. Like, I was just messing around with my dog, like she was rolling over and shit and like chasing me and all that, and it was like a fucking movie scene. I swear I was in like Pursuit of Happiness when he's fucking dribbling the basketball or whatever. That's how I fucking felt. But I look back to these two moments in my life and I'm really noticing why I felt so great in such a small, insignificant moment, and so poorly in such a what should be like a great time where you're kicking back with your friends. And the thing I can 100% point to is where my dopamine was and how I had spent those respective days prior to that. Now, in the prior example, I was going through a breakup, and I explained this briefly in one of my other videos. I was drowning out all those negative thoughts I had, all that just sadness with social media, scrolling, and then maybe the gym 2 or 3 hours a day. Probably longer than it needed to fucking be, because I didn't want to sit there and deal with those emotions. Point is, my brain was fucked. I had watched probably like 300 Instagram reels, and just every bit of coherency I had just fucking down the drain. Not there at all. And I think back to today, I think it was around 11 or noon when I was playing with my dog. But up to that point, I had done nothing but great habits. I don't mean to suck my own dick here, but this morning I woke up, I took my cold shower, I did my 5-4-5 method in my journal, I did my meditation, I did my gratitude, I did my visualization, I did fucking everything. I did my cardio, I ate a great meal. Like, I did everything right, and in turn, such an insignificant small moment. And even right now, I'm sitting here with so much presence, so much joy right now and going forward for the rest of my day. But with dopamine, I know you all probably know the general concept of it. You don't need to get super scientific with it. Basically, instant gratification requires more dopamine and drains your dopamine receptors more, and doing stuff that requires discipline and hard work just keeps them more intact. That's the bro science way to put it, but that's all you really need to know at the end of the day. The most powerful framework I ever adopted into my life, and I realized this when I was pretty young, when I first learned about this concept of dopamine and dopamine detox. The way I rewired my mind was that every single time I stemmed out, which is when you're just fucking scrolling on social media like an absolute fucking drone. But before I did that, I had it ingrained in my brain that if I did this, the rest of my day was gonna be worse. When I watch that basketball game later, when I eat my food later, when I post my YouTube video later, that's all not gonna have the same feeling on my brain, that same euphoric feeling that actions like that should have on your brain, right? If I go sit on Instagram Reels and rot my brain, my workout right now is not gonna feel as great as I know it is after I've done all my habits I listed earlier. And I'll make a full dopamine detox video in the future, but right now I wanna give 3 easy, practical steps that you will be able to apply today or tomorrow morning to just make your life better. Simply put, like, it's fucking science the way your brain works. You're not special. All of us are wired the same way. I believe God wired us this way because he wanted us to, really have focus and have the wisdom to live out his will. But that's a whole other topic. So the first step, this is the most important one by far, and this is gonna be the hardest too, but it's to not listen to music in your car unless you're going to the gym. This is the number one small habit that I believe has caused this 180 in how I'm feeling just in my day-to-day. Instead of listening to music, throw on some sort of long-form podcast or YouTuber that really is going to fill your subconscious with education of something that you want to become, of something that leads to your future, right? I'm going to link 4 or 5 YouTubers that I typically throw on in the car every single day in some form of variation. I'll throw that in the description. You guys can use them too. Great people, great subconscious stuff. Throw that on instead of listening to some fucking Lil Baby where he's talking about fucking all these hoes that you're never gonna get, right? Like, just don't do that shit. It fucks with your subconscious as much as you think it isn't, and that's just such a great time to really try and better your mind and Fill that subconscious with good shit. It's less about the music part of it, but way more about adding that educational content and giving your brain kind of a break for that hour or two you're probably in the car per day. Let's put this in perspective. So you have person A that listens to music every time they're in the car, like most people do, and you've got person B that's listening to some form of educational podcast or something like that that relates to their goals and whatnot, and put them on the timeline of a year. This person has learned jack shit. This person has learned 365 hours and filled their brain with 365 hours of fucking education and just good shit that's helping their life. Think about how much time that is. That's so many hours that can be making you better and also just giving your brain a fucking rest a little bit. As much as you might want to be coping, person B is going to be a lot better off, dopamine wise and just education wise. It's a win fucking win. Music enhances emotions. That's why you listen to hardcore music or loud ass music when you're in the gym. You listen to peaceful music when you're by a campfire, and you listen to sad music when you're sad. It enhances the emotions. That's what its job is. It makes you feel some type of way. Use that for its best possible intended purpose, and use that when you're going to the gym. You can listen to loud ass music and get yourself going, right? Use it for something positive. Now, point number 2. This is a very short point, but you've definitely heard this from another YouTuber at some point, but don't go on social media for that first hour of the day, for sure. So Hamza, a YouTuber I watch, this is an analogy he gives all the time when talking about dopamine. So basically, let's say you have brain points. You have 100 brain points, right? And every action you do throughout the day can decrease these brain points. Eating food costs 3 brain points. Deciding what clothes to wear costs 4 brain points. Scrolling on social media probably costs like fucking 25 because you just watch 10 videos that are about 10 different things. That's why it's so bad. But the point is, all these things cost brain points, and you want to be doing things in your morning that help build up your brain points, right? Like meditation, journaling, cold shower, all this stuff that require discipline, because discipline is what adds to these brain points. That's what gives you more of them. But overall, you want to be keeping these brain points, and using social media in the morning is quite literally the worst thing you can do, because when you're out, that's why you try and pull out your homework or whatever and you can't do it by 6 p.m. That's why when you're working out, you pull out your phone 20 times and have no focus during it and no intensity later in the day. You got to keep the brain points intact and really try and keep yourself present throughout the day. This is my homie that I was running around with earlier, me and gang. So the third point is going to be to treat small discipline actions exactly like you would a video game. So everybody's played Minecraft. Everybody knows when you go mine iron or you go mine diamonds or you go get coal, you get XP, right? That little bar at the bottom, you start going up numbers. Discipline, funny enough, works the same exact fucking way. Every time you do something that requires discipline or that you don't want to do, your skill of discipline, your level of discipline, your capability regarding discipline goes up. It's crazy that real life took something from Minecraft, right? Isn't that just fucking wild? So basically, seeing those super small actions, like taking a few water bottles out of your car if you left some in there when you get home, cleaning up the kitchen fully after you use it, like deep cleaning and all that. Or, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a nasty motherfucker. I don't always brush my teeth at night. I know, it's crazy. You know, if you're watching this video, you fucking don't either. I always do morning. I'll skip the night sometimes. Brush your teeth at night and use that little action of discipline, or when you're tired as fuck and you don't really want to do that. Use that as an opportunity to upgrade this discipline skill bar, and you will reap the rewards of these little wins compounding up in your daily life. So those are 3 tips that can really help your life, help you feel better, help you feel more present, and really rewire your dopamine system. I want to make a full video about more actionable steps and more bigger things that you can be doing and habits you can implement into your life that can really change the way you feel in your day-to-day. So going forward, make your future self proud. It's 1 p.m. right now. I'm going to try and do some things that'll make 5 p.m. Charlie proud and 7 a.m. Charlie proud tomorrow, and let that person experience some peace. Do some things that require some discipline. Avoid those bad habits and all that. And yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and God bless.